Leadership11.com.
Welcome to Leadership Role. I'm your host, Dr. Kitty, and today we'll be continuing our review of Codex Dark Angels. And today we'll be talking about the fast attack and heavy support selections. So starting with the fast attack, the first thing is the Ravenwing Attack Squadron. Now this is your bikes. So it only comes with 3 bikes, 2 bikers and a sergeant. But you can add 3 more bikes, you can add an attack bike, you can even add a land speeder. So they come with power armor, a bolt pistol, a twin-link bolt gun, which is on the bike obviously, a heavy bolter on the attack bike, frag and crack grenades, and a teleport armor. They all have teleport armors. They have the And They Shall Know No Fear, Grim Resolve, Hit and Run, Ravenwing Combat Squads, and Scouts. The Ravenwing Combat Squad is basically, if you take the full 6 bikes, you can break them down into 2 squads of 3. The attack bikes and land speeder are always separate. They don't get to travel around with the pack. So up to 2 of the bikers can have a flamer, a melt-a-gun, or a plasma gun. You of course can upgrade the sergeant to be a veteran sergeant, which gives them +1 leadership and an extra attack. There are 4s across the board, stat-wise, except for their toughness 5 because they're bikes. Leadership 8, 3 up save because they have power armor. The sergeant can take melee and ranged weapons like any other sergeant, so you know that's how you get your power fist and whatnot. And they can take a land speeder, which is basically one of the speeders chosen from the Ravenwing Support Squadron. This is the other special unit that can be troops because of Samael or Azrael. So it's pretty common to see these as your Dark Angel army as well, just an all Ravenwing army. The Scouts move is pretty impressive. It means they all can outflank. It also means that they get that redeployment at the beginning of the game, which can be really big, especially if you're deploying first. You can really mess up opponent's battle line by shifting 12 inches to one side or the other. All in all, they're pretty good. And when combined with the Banner of Devastation, so that they're all salvo 4 weapons, they throw out a lot of bolt gun shots. So I like these in tandem with the Deathwing, as they all have teleport armors, and with the Scout move. If you're coming down that first turn, you can generally put them in a spot you need to put them. The next entry is the Ravenwing Support Squadron, which is the land speeders. And they're like every other land speeder. Ballistic 4, front side armor 10, rear armor 10. They only have 2 hull points like all land speeders. And they have the same options. Basically, they come with a heavy bolter, and you can take a heavy flamer or multi-melta. You can give them the Typhoon missiles, which are heavy 2, frag or crack missiles. And you can add a heavy bolter, a heavy flamer, a multi-melter, and an assault cannon, as long as you don't make them missiles. But the thing that's really interesting about this squad is that you can have up to 4 more land speeders. So you can actually have 5 land speeders in a squad, which is pretty impressive. Because that many missiles coming down at somebody, or even just heavy bolter shots, that's a lot of shots. You can wipe out some stuff with that. The next entry is the Ravenwing Black Knights, and these are kind of like the Deathwing Knights, where they're the elite of the Ravenwing. And they're 4s across the board, except for the toughness 5. They have 2 attacks and leadership 9, because they are in essence veterans of the Ravenwing. They have their power armor, a bolt pistol, a plasma talon, the Corvus hammer, frag and crack grenades, and teleport armors. They have the And They Shall Know No Fear, Grim Resolve, Hit and Run, Scouts, and Skilled Rider. Now, the Plasma Talon is an 18-inch range plasma gun, so strength 7 AP2 with rapid fire, which is pretty good. Corvus hammers are +1 strength melee weapons with rending, also pretty good. Hit and Run, they make an initiative test, they can leave combat, assuming they didn't lose and run away. And then Skilled Rider, they have the move through cover rule. They pass dangerous terrain. Plus they add 1 to their Jinx saves, which is pretty good. Again, like the other bikes, they start at 3, and you can add up to 7 Black Knights, so they can be a full unit of 10. This is why they don't have the Ravenwing combat squads rule, as they would actually have to. Well, they don't have combat squads at all. So you take 10, they're just 10 in one group. So for every full 3 models, you can replace the Plasma Talon with a Ravenwing grenade launcher. And the grenade launcher is pretty much like the Guard grenade launchers that fire crack or frag shells, which is either strength 6 AP4 or strength 3 with, I think, AP6. But they also have the Rad grenade, which is only like strength 3, but if you hit them, they have a -1 to their toughness. So that's pretty good before you charge in. The Huntsmaster, the Sergeant, can also replace his hammer with a power weapon. So a power weapon of your choosing, which isn't bad. I like these guys. They're a little spendy compared to the normal bikes. They're 42 over 27. So it's almost double, not quite. But they are pretty pricey. As you pretty much get the same thing in the command squad, I would probably just use them as a command squad. The next fast attack thing is the Ravenwing Dark Shroud, and this is a special land speeder. It's front, side, and rear armor 10, plus skill 4, 2 hull points. There's only 1, you can't add any more. It comes with a heavy bolter, has a deep strike, icon of old Caliban, scouts, shroud of angels, and stealth special rule. And basically this is a support thing. The icon gives Dark Angels within range of it +1 to their combat results, kind of like a banner. And the Shroud of Angels gives Dark Angels stealth. Now I believe in the FAQ it says that the Dark Shroud itself doesn't have stealth. I think they pulled that from it. And it can replace its heavy bolter with an assault cannon for 20 points. But the thing's already 80, so 100 points might be a bit much. The next thing is the Assault Squad. This is your Green Marine jump packers. And they pretty much the exact same as the Tactical Squad, except they have bolt pistol and chainsword. They do have combat squads, Grim Resolve, and They Shall Know No Fear. There's 17 points apiece, which is pretty much average for assault squads. And they can take flamers, which is decent. And that's really about it. They're just assault marines. If you take something like a chaplain with a jump pack, you can make assault marines work. But really, out of the Dark Angels, I think there's better things to take. The next 2 entries are the planes, the lamented Dark Angel planes. The first one is the Nephilim Jet Fighter. It's front, side, and rear of 11, plus skill 4. It has 3 hull points. It comes with a twin-linked heavy bolter, a twin-linked las cannon, 6 black sword missiles. It has strafing run, unrelenting hunter. Man, that's a tough word. And you can change the twin-linked las cannon with Avenger Mega Bolter. Now, this really isn't a bad plane, but it is 180 points. The thing that really kills these planes is its missiles, the black swords, only strength 6. This is supposed to be an anti-air interceptor. But with strength 6 missiles, the really premier planes that you'd fight against, the Valkyries, the Helldrakes, Storm Ravens, you need 6s to glance. And they don't have any rule that like negates jinx saves or anything. They do the unrelenting hunter rule allows them to choose weapon destroyed results as immobilized, but with the relatively low strength on the black swords, that's unlikely that you're going to get very many penetrating hits. The Avenger Mega Bolter is decent, but if you want to use it as anti-air, you're going to have to keep the las cannon. All in all, I probably wouldn't invest in one of these, but they are really sweet looking. Like, I like how they look a lot. Like, they look awesome, but 180 points is pretty hard to come up with. The next one is the Dark Talon. And the Dark Talon has 2 Hurricane Bolters, a Rift Cannon, a Stasis Bomb, and it has a Hover Strike rule. It's the same as the Nephilim. It's front, rear, side of 11, 3 hull points, ballistic skill 4. And what the Riv Cannon does, it's a heavy 1 blast with a blind, but it's strength 5 and no AP. And the Stasis Bomb is interesting. If a unit's hit by it, they have a -3 to their initiative and weapon skill. But that does mean that you have to fly over them to drop the bomb. And it is less points than the jet fighter. And I think if you're going to take one of the two, I'd probably take the Dark Talon. But it is to taste, I suppose. So, onto the heavy support. We have the Devastator Squad. The only change here is they can take flak missiles. Otherwise, they're Space Marines. They can take, your drop pod, Rhino, Razorback. They do have the Signum like Space Marines, so one guy, if the sergeant doesn't shoot, can be ballistic skill 5. Not really much to say with them. It's normal loadouts. They have nothing crazy. Like it's heavy bolter, multi-melta, missile launcher with the option for flak missiles, a plasma cannon, a las cannon. Every Devastator squad ever is the same. Next is the Predator. They did lower its points. It starts at 75. I believe with Twin Link las cannon and las cannon sponsons, it looks to be 140, which is a little less, but it's your Predator. It's front armor 13, side 11, rear 10, 3 hull points, ballistic skill 4. It does come with a searchlight and smoke launchers, and if you leave it with just the autocannon and give it heavy bolter sponsons, it's only 95 points, which is a decent little fire base, but they are fairly easy to kill, especially if anything hits your side armor. Next is the Whirlwind. Front and side armor 11, rear armor 10. It's a Whirlwind. It's only 65 points, so they lowered its points by another 15 or so. But again, it's a Whirlwind. They're not particularly great. Next is the Vindicator. Front armor 13, side 11, rear 10. It has a Demolisher Cannon, a Stormbolter, Searchlight, and Smoke Launchers. You can take a Siege Shield for 10 points, which means it automatically passes dangerous terrain. And all these vehicles can take from the Dark Angels vehicle equipment list, but that's just your Dozer Blade and extra armor and things like that. It's the common Space Marine stuff. Nothing special there. They didn't get any special vehicle upgrades. So then we have the Land Raiders. You have your standard Land Raider, which I like to call the Godhammer pattern, which is your 2 Twin Link las cannons and your Twin Link heavy bolter. Has a transport capacity of 10, and you can give it the Deathwing vehicle rule as long as it's a dedicated transport for one of the Deathwing squads. So the Command Squad, the Deathwing Squad, or the Deathwing Knights. The Land Raider Crusader, same as every other Crusader. It has the transport capacity of 16. The Redeemer has a transport capacity of 12, and it has the Flamestorm cannons. Same as every other one. All of these are front, side, and rear 14, like Land Raiders, and 4 hull points, like Land Raiders. They're all, 250, 250. The Redeemer's 245, so it's a little bit less, but not much. Then the last heavy support thing is Landspeeder Vengeance, which has a heavy bolter, the Plasma Storm Battery. It can deep strike, because it's a Landspeeder. And you can choose to replace its heavy bolter with an assault cannon, but it's front, side, and rear of 10, ballistic skill 4, 2 hull points. The Plasma Storm Battery is a giant plasma cannon thing that it mounts, and it can fire a 5-inch blast at strength 7 AP 2, which is pretty good. Or it can fire 3 strength 7 AP 2 shots, and the blast and the 3 shots do all have the gets hot rule. It only has a range of 24, but considering it can deep strike, that really isn't that big a deal. But land speeders are pretty easy to kill, so that's kind of, again, to taste. So that's my review of the fast attack and heavy support choices. Other than the Raven Wing attack squad and maybe the land speeders, nothing really stands out to me. It's pretty much exactly like what all other Space Marines have. So nothing really special there. Tomorrow I'll go over what I think is good about the Dark Angels list and what I like from it. And maybe review a sample list that I've used. So we'll see you tomorrow.